Welcome to another episode of Behind the Scenes Britain with me, Clive Britton, where we delve into the minds of ordinary and extraordinary people to find out what's really going on behind the scenes in today's Britain. But before we move on, I'd like to introduce, as always, my co-host and producer of the show, Will G. Jones. How's it going, Will?
Excellent, Clive. Great to be here.
Introducing our guest this evening, massive AC/DC fan, a family man, a carpenter by trade, a keen photographer, and to boot, a regular face on the music scene, Brian Sweet, aka Angus Young. Welcome to the show, Brian.
All right, Brian. Oh, Angus, Brian, where are we going with that?
Brian's fine.
Angus on Facebook.
Yes.
Brian Sweet, born January 1962, and with the information you have given us, that makes you an Aquarius. Aquarius is the 11th sign of the zodiac and is known for its unique and progressive personality. Individuals born under this sign are often described as independent, intellectual, and humanitarian. They are innovative thinkers, value freedom and individuality, and are drawn to causes that promote positive change. However, they can also be unpredictable, detached, and sometimes rebellious.
Does that sound like you? A little bit, maybe, possibly?
It might well
be
an accurate description, yes.
Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? Let's get straight into AC/DC. Your name on Facebook is actually Angus Young, a homage, as you will. We can get a bit more into this later when we talk about your music, but tell us why AC/DC.
Well, really, Clive, it started when I saw Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah, the film, I know the one.
Just entire thing is the AC/DC, with the whole soundtrack's AC/DC, about a celestial event that affects all the electrical and motor-driven vehicles.
Oh, I remember it, yeah.
And which take over and terrorise people for 24 hours, and the whole soundtrack. And I remember sitting there thinking...
Stephen King film, was it?
Yes, I think it was. But I sat there and it was like somebody'd switched a light on.
Yeah.
And after that, I sought out everything AC/DC I could find.
Yeah, I know, it's good, isn't it? One of my favourites, Whole Lot of Rosie.
And mine too.
Yeah, I love that.
You
love
shook
that
me
song.
all night long, I like.
So, Brian, you're a family man. Tell us a little bit about your childhood. Where did you grow up, etc.? We are intrigued to know.
Originally, I was born in Walton-on-Thames, not that far from here. But then we moved down to a little village in Hampshire called Kingsworthy when I was about 3 years old. Mum, Dad, a younger sister who came along in 1965.
Whereabouts is Hampshire? Whereabouts in Hampshire?
About 3 miles outside Winchester.
Okay.
Kingsworthy, it was called.
Yeah, just...
It's about 60 miles, M25, M3.
What, towards London?
No, away from London.
Right,
Yeah, it's near Southampton,
Portsmouth.
actually.
Ah, right, now.
It's 20 miles from Southampton.
Got you. Yeah, so where did you go to school? Did you go to school down there?
Yes.
Yeah. And what was your first school called?
Kingsworthy County Primary School.
Ooh,
It was.
Still remember it? Still remember the teachers and people?
It's still there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. And where did you go on from there?
Well, the people that were in the year with me when we graduated up to secondary school went to a place called Montgomery of Alamein, the boys, and the girls went to a school called Denmark. My dad decided I'd be better served with a grammar school education, and I'd missed the 11 plus by 2 years.
Okay, this was a thing back then, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
You should consider posh sort of like.
And you had to pass your 11 plus to get in. But the year I moved from junior school to secondary school, the local grammar school for girls became a mixed comprehensive, and the local grammar school for boys was phased out into a sixth form college. So when I went to what used to be the girls' grammar school, was the first mixed year there.
Oh, okay, and that's quite a big thing as well.
And there was still sixth formers there, so there were 90 boys and 900 girls.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
Education over.
Yeah, gone. Yeah. Shot to bits.
No
concentration.
No interest in lessons after that.
Yeah, nice.
Brilliant. So, you went there. So, what year was that then?
That would have been 73.
73, different times.
Yeah,
different
absolutely
times,
it was.
Yeah. I suppose you walked to school.
No, we had to get a lift with my dad on the way to work because it was 4 miles away.
Right. Okay.
The secondary school. The junior school was near, but
Yeah.
That's quite a long way. Isn't it? We used to have to walk to school. I was about the same year as you. I was born in 64, but it was a couple of miles. That was it. But yeah,
I used to walk a mile home from school when I was 7.
yeah,
on my own.
Well, it was nothing then, was it?
In those days. And
Yeah.
if you ran across the road and without looking and got beeped at, by the time you got home, your mum had been phoned and you got a think here to boot.
Yeah, it's funny that, and how they knew about it.
Everybody around the village was looking out for you. You didn't realise, but they were all
Yeah.
looking out for all the kids.
That's weird, man.
Yeah. So what you was with your mum, your dad? Was it?
Mm-hmm.
What was your family like? Give us an insight into your family
Well,
life.
just
You know,
a,
brothers, sisters. How, you know, what was the dynamic?
It was my
in your
dad
house?
and my stepmother and my smaller sister. My dad worked at a local heating company which was affiliated to Dimplex. My mum, I don't think she went to work until my sister was about 8 or 9, and she worked as an assistant in the local girls' secondary school in the home economics department.
Oh, all right.
So Sunday, did you have dinner around the table?
Yes,
And were you not allowed to move from the table until you
Yeah,
had...
exactly that.
'cause
Yeah,
that-
and
that's-
you'd
that
sit.
was
You'd
how-
sit. We used to eat in the evening, and it was quite a family event. We'd eat 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Did you ever get a clip round the ear?
Quite often.
Oh,
yeah.
what loads of them. 5 fingers round my thigh.
Yeah,
my mum was
we
washing up.
weren't not regularly, but enough to know that if they only had to look at you if you were doing something about Abbold, and you knew to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You stepped out. You didn't step out.
No.
There was a line.
But I mean, dinner time was like, there's your dinner, eat it.
Yeah.
There's none of this. Would you like fish fingers or would you like? No, I'm cooking that, and that's what's on the table.
No,
and
you're
gonna
right.
eat it.
There wasn't the choice, was
No,
there? Here's your
and
dinner.
if you don't eat that, then there'll be nothing else.
Yeah.
Saturday evenings, Doctor Who sandwiches.
Of course.
Yeah.
There was only 3 television channels for
Yeah,
them,
that's
wasn't
right.
there?
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, our first telly
I was going to say, did you
was
ever
black
tell-
and white,
Yeah.
and it had no picture, so we used to listen
Yeah.
to programs rather than seeing them.
Yeah, yeah.
Dick
The only
Barton's-
danger was the Jimmy Savile program.
Well,
Didn't
yeah,
fix
yeah,
it.
that came later, didn't it?
Yeah, I wrote to them. Fortunately, I was declined.
Yes.
Yeah. Lucky escape.
Yeah, bloody right. So, Brian, tell us a little bit more about your family history. We hear that you've recently found another sibling.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's true, Clive. It all started out really because my oldest daughter, cut long story short, she tans really well, so her friends were joking that she must have some black heritage.
Okay.
So
I had that once in the butt, my curly hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So her mother bought her a DNA testing kit, just one where you provide a DNA sample and it supposedly just gives you a breakdown of your heritage. And it came back that she was part Scandinavian and part Welsh and nothing to do with
Yeah,
Africa.
nothing to do with me either.
And I explained to her that
Promise.
that's just the male line. All the males in our family she's got that from, like, my granddad got arrested as a suspected Italian escaped prisoner of war when he was on the beach on his day off from plastering army camps because he was so dark skinned and had black hair.
Really?
Yes, yeah. So that was fine, but one of the stipulations for this DNA kit was you had to upload it to a website, a genealogy website, right. And then she was away for the weekend with some friends. There were an Airbnb down in Dorset, and she messaged me and said, "Look, Dad, I've explained the situation," and she said, "I've had this message back from a lady on the genealogy thing that says, her name's Lola. Oh, Lola, I notice that you are a 14% familial match to me and a 25% familial match to my mother."
Really?
And I knew my mum that brought me up wasn't my birth mother. That was never.
That was your stepmom.
But so anyway, Lola's screenshotting these and sending it to her, and I said, because I knew that she existed, I said, without doubt, I said, you were talking to my sister, who I have never met.
You was instinctively knew.
Well, I knew that she existed because I'd been told over the years.
Right.
But I mean, a 14% familial match, and to her mother, 25%. That's a grandmother.
Right. Okay.
So I said to her, just because she said, "Oh, I'm really sorry," and I seem to have opened up a can of worms here, and I'm like, No, it's no
Late
problem.
now.
Well, no, but no, and I was intrigued then.
Yeah.
So I said to her, just send her my phone number. Tell her if she wants to ring me. That's fine. She rang within half an hour, and we got talking. And it turned out because my mother was still alive, and is still alive. She's 87.
Right, so where can we just? We'll come back. But so when did you lose touch with your mother?
She decided, for whatever reason, when she's since explained to me, the last time we saw each other was when I was 4, and she had decided that I was probably better off in a small family unit than having someone popping in and out of their life. And I think her life was quite hard at the time.
Okay, yeah,
So she made the decision to step back.
Thinking of you, sort of thing.
So in talking to this lady who, say Janet, who turned out to be my sister, we established. She said to me, "Oh no, Mum's still alive. She lives 5 doors down. She'll be 87 this Christmas Day."
That was lucky, right in time.
Well, we arranged to meet about a month later, and we went up to. And the other thing was they only live in Woking,
Right.
which is like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So we arranged to meet. Jane and I went and met them about a month later.
Well, what was that? Can we just get it? Because I mean, this is really, deep, man. How did that go? How did you feel? Have you ever felt abandonment issues or anything like that?
No, and I
it's
think,
all been cool.
yeah, bygones be bygones. Whatever happened was done.
But surely, possibly walking up to the door for the first time.
Yes, it was a bit apprehensive.
Yeah,
but what made it less apprehensive, because we were under the impression that we were going to Janet's house, and then Jane would sit and have a coffee, and I'd be taken to meet my mum. And when we arrived at the address, Janet came to the door, and we obviously made our introductions, and then she said, "Oh, Mum's through here." So I had no time to think about it then.
Brilliant.
So
Yeah,
Jane just stayed
way.
back in the kitchen, and I went in, and
what was that like? Did you
it
hug?
was quite, yeah, and it was quite emotional.
Wow.
And she's this tiny little woman. She makes me look like a
mate.
giant.
Hey, yeah, that is emotional, mate.
And she just told me about the day I was born and what time it was, and
yeah. Did she? And then you sat and obviously you talked. She told you why she gave you.
No, we didn't. We didn't.
Sorry. No,
yeah,
you
we
didn't
didn't
touch
really.
on that, no.
So we ended up going to the pub because that way it's sort of neutral ground,
and there's booze
and had
involved.
a big lunch. Obviously, my sister's husband David came as well, and I have a nephew who's 22. He's severely autistic, but I mean, he does his thing. So I found all these people. And then a week or 2 later, I went back, and Janet left my mum and I on our own for an hour or so. And by this time, I'd got a big album of pictures together, and we sort of talked about what we'd done in our life, and we're still learning.
Yeah. But so you're still in touch now?
Yes, absolutely. I was lucky. I went to their house for Christmas lunch, which was also my mum's.
Did she
birthday.
give you all the presents that she didn't?
Yeah. I said, "Where's the other 86?"
Yeah, I had a similar thing happen to me just recently. Actually, it wasn't until a couple of years ago. My half brother, that I kind of had an inkling about, suddenly popped out the woodwork and said, and got in touch with us and said, "I'm your brother. Come and have a drink."
Oh wow!
It's quite an emotional thing, isn't it?
And he definitely was, because he's so similar in his ways and mannerisms. And people say he looks like me as well. I don't know. I don't see that myself, but crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's mad. Yeah. So you've had that as well, Clive. Do you think this probably? Do you think it's more common than we think?
Maybe it is.
Because
it's not the sort of thing you promote as a father, is it?
No, but it was kept under things as well. Everything was kept under wraps years ago. Whereas now with the internet and Friends Reunited and Facebook and things, it's
Friends Reunited.
Well, the other strange thing about that one is, sorry, right, to interrupt, but he is 4 months younger than me. Younger. So his mother was carrying him while my mother was carrying me. And apparently, from what I found out, my mother knew about it. So you can sort of see why it would have been kept from me. And it would have been something that would have been like cropping up all the time. And
probably whispered in a corner, and that's where you probably felt that there was something being hidden from. Yeah,
absolutely.
Because children are like that. And you can,
children know. You can't hide it.
No, that's it. No, that's interesting stuff. So, and then growing up, so where did you go after the school? What you left and?
Well, I went to college initially, sixth form college, And after the first year, at the end of the year, summer holidays of the first year, a letter came through the door. I remember it very clearly. It was a Thursday morning, addressed to me, which I opened, and it was from Peter Simmons, Sixth Form College in Winchester, and it said, "Dear Brian, this is just to let you know we no longer require your presence at Sixth Form College this coming term due to the fact that you don't very often turn up in the afternoon, and when you do, you appear to have been in the pub."
This is my boss has said exactly the same to me, funny enough.
I can remember distinctly because my dad said, well, he said, "There's no point in complaining about it now." He said, "It's done's done." And he went, "Have a nice weekend." And I said, "Oh, thanks, Dad. Why is that then?" And he went, "Because on Monday morning you'll get in my car and come into the element bending factory to work there until you find something for yourself." Oh. And in those days you went, "Yes, Dad."
Yes, Dad.
I bet you wish you hadn't done that now. So, Brian, you were a carpenter by trade. How did you get into woodwork, and have you had interesting jobs along the way? We heard you once worked in a zoo and got bitten by a llama. Please elaborate.
Yeah, that's quite true, actually. I like to tell my grandchildren that it occurred when I was a professional llama wrestler.
Not an alpaca.
It was a guanaco.
Right. Funny enough, on Sunday, I'm going to walk with alpacas.
Yes, it wasn't an alpaca.
This is a llama.
No, similar, very similar. They're both spit here.
But I mean, that was a fair bit into my employment history.
Give us a rundown.
So
you left college. You said you was going to work.
Yeah, my dad put me in the car.
Yep.
On Monday morning, off we went to Southampton, 20 miles away. And he said, on the journey, he said, "Oh, by the way," because he was the boss of the factory, and he said, "This is a courtesy today." He said, "Because you start at 8, and because I'm the boss, I start at 9. He said, "So from tomorrow, you get on your bicycle at 6 o'clock in the morning, you ride 4 miles to this guy's house. He will take you the rest of the way on a motorbike, on the back of a motorbike."
Did you wish you'd done better at school?
Yeah, at that point I'm thinking, and it's because it's September, it's starting to get cold. You don't want to get on the bicycle.
What was your bike like? None of them things we have now, right?
It was a decent one, but the last 300 yards to this bloke's house were like the north face of the Eiger. So you're going up at like 1 in 5 or something ridiculous.
So what job that? Yeah, go on, Karen.
And I was just put on the factory floor, bending copper powder-filled radiator elements.
Right.
Before they were
heated.
To put in radiators. You know, like the radiators filled with water, and along the bottom there's that element. They were Dimplex.
Yeah.
But that probably served you well as in an engineering kind of.
Yeah, I stayed there about 4 or 5 months, and then I went and found a job nearer to home.
Can I just ask? Was it a proper old school factory? Clock in, clock
out.
Like,
exactly. Yeah, with the
did they have a bit
noise.
like in the Flintstones where they pulled the thing?
Yeah, now this had a cardboard card that you put it in the machine, and it stamped the time, and then took a little notch out the card.
Yeah, that's it.
But because it was 20 miles. And in those days, car driving tests were a 6-month wait. I went and got a motorbike on finance, £330 MZ 150 2-stroke single, and then I used to potter backwards and forwards to Southampton on that.
Nice. But, was the fuel quite cheap as well back then?
Well, yeah, it was 70 pence a gallon for petrol or something in those days.
What's gallon?
So it's gone up a little bit then.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. Yeah, so go on in with the jobs. So you was then.
So yeah, I'll rattle through them because there was a few, and then I went on and made touch switch panels.
Switch.
The touch switch, like it was a laminate with a little bumpy switch on, and you'd press the button, and it had a flat circuit with a plug on the end that you plug it into.
Okay.
I think we made some for the space shuttle at one point, and then I met my first wife, and I moved to Crawley because she lived there, and went straight onto the airport, airline catering.
How old were you?
20.
20, right? Okay.
Yeah, it was
20 years old, and you started up the airport.
Gatwick Airport.
Yes.
Was that Lions?
No, it was airline catering. It was ACS. It was called.
Oh, okay.
It then became Trust House 40, and then became
because it was also Lions. Because I worked up there probably about the same time, and it was Lions I worked for. But
that was like a different world. Instead of standing at a machine for 8 hours a day, you're having to make up stores carts, go on a lorry, go on these airplanes, take stuff off, and it was such a laugh. It was like going to work with your mates every day.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
And it wasn't like work.
We used to find cavities behind the scenes. Good one. In the kitchen, you could find there'd be a cupboard, and then you could move the panel, and there was this whole area that was like where all the ventilation and all that, and the heating pipes were. We used to skive off for hours in there, go and have a smoke, and somebody would bring a little bottle of whiskey in, and we'd have a toke of that as well.
That was old school airport, wasn't it? It's not like that now.
No,
you wouldn't be able to do it now. Nice.
No. Yep. So, and the next one, where do we go from
there?
Well,
I stayed there for quite a long time, and eventually ended up as customer service manager. After working my way up as supervisor, operations controller, and I looked after people like Air China and Pan Am and Dan Air when they were in existence. And then Dan Air went bust, and I got offered, because I lost my job, I got offered the senior supervisor over at the other unit and went back on the clock, which I earned more money, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then I got to the point where I'd had enough of it, and I decided I wanted to be an RSPCA officer.
Right.
Reading the bump.
Interesting change.
I always loved animals.
Right.
Always brought up with dogs.
Mm.
But I went to a local animal sanctuary called Burstow Wildlife Sanctuary, which used to be behind the Shipley Bridge years ago.
That's right. I remember that.
Bridge in...
But
there was a mushroom centre
just
as
by
well.
the bridge as you go from the road that goes into Hawley to go to the back of Copthorne.
I know.
There was a mushroom centre as well. Do you remember that?
There is one round there, yeah. Where
they used to grow the mushrooms.
And then pack them all.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
And it was so it was Peaksbrook Lane.
Yeah,
round the back there. That was run by a lady called Penny Boyd, and I started going there because on the bump for the RSPCA, it said that you needed hands-on practical experience. So I went there, and when I went there, I found she had things like domestic animals. There were a fair few dogs running about, but there was British wildlife, so there were injured and recovering foxes, badgers, but she also took in displaced zoo animals. For example, there was a spider monkey that had a tail missing, so it wasn't considered a suitable exhibit.
Yeah.
There was another one with an arm missing.
Okay.
And then there'd be a group of monkeys where they had too many. We had probably 200 primates.
Wow.
There was a couple of rescued baboons from a laboratory, because I remember they had tattoos.
Really?
And I remember distinctly, I can probably talk about this now, they weren't on the licence, because with a place like that you have to have a dangerous wild animals licence, and each animal that's specified has to be written down on the licence, and these baboons weren't on there.
So was this place like a sub from the YMCA, or was it just under the umbrella as its own?
No, it was a private thing.
Right, yeah.
In the garden of this man's house, basically.
Okay.
Bit like Gatwick Caveries, slightly.
It was that sort of thing, yes,
Yeah.
but much more exotic. There was llamas.
Right. Yeah, so tell us.
Which will come to
we'll come to it.
Yeah,
but the baboons, for example, another interesting story of the baboons. Somebody who she upset, well, there was quite a few, reported her to the council for having these two baboons, and they were in a shipping container with lion gauge wire, and we used to have to entice them into the front bit, pull the door shut, bolt it so they couldn't get, and go and clean them out, and then do it in reverse. But so someone reported her to the council man who knew they were there anyway, but he had to come and inspect. So she got a dodgy vet in with a blowpipe, and we blowpiped these baboons.
Yeah.
And he said to me, right, go in and I've got this male baboon with teeth that are 2 inches long that can bite through your head.
Yes.
And we're carrying it out, and we put it on the bonnet of a car, because he said, while we got it out, we'll just make sure but give him a quick health check.
Is this when you give it the tattoo?
No, the tattoos were done by the lab. So we put in worm paste up under his teeth and like just having a good look at him. And then he rolled over, and I said to the vet, I thought he was unconscious. He went, well, he's not really unconscious. He said it's a sensory deprivation drug, so he's actually awake. And I'm like, right, where's the and we put him in this cage.
Good job.
Hid it. The councilman came the next day, saw empty container, didn't look anywhere else, just went fine. And happy ending. They ended up at Knowsley Wildlife Park.
Oh, great!
And lived out their lives in a much better place.
Nice. Yeah, brilliant. That's nice to hear. Yeah. So, tell us about the llama.
Well, the llama. He was called Jeremy, and he was a guanaco llama. and he'd been hand reared by the lady that owned the place, so he had no fear of people at all. And he used to spit a lot, so you'd be walking past and he'd be spitting at you. And to feed him, we used to have like a Marks and Spencer's food tray, and he'd have greens and bread.
Would he only have Marks and Spencer's?
Well, no, it was just that the food came from out-of-date Marks and Spencer's. We had to pick it up from all over the place. So he'd have this big tray full of bread and greens and stuff, but he'd also have hay, and of course they ruminate and then they regurgitate it, and that's what they're spitting out, fermented hay juice, basically. Okay. So, and I was putting the food in just over the top of the fence, and as I pulled my hands out again, he grabbed my wrist, I think you can see there.
Ooh, yeah.
And they've got hooked teeth, so it pinged through 2 tendons and the median nerve, and then his tooth ended up round the inside of my wrist bone and had my hand pinned to the fence.
So it can be a little bit dangerous.
So I'm stuck then. I just reacted. I punched him with my other hand. I punched him straight on the nose, and he let go. Right. But my wrist opened up. Right. Like in a 3-inch long gash, about 2 inches wide, and I couldn't use my fingers.
Oh, that's quite a story.
Oh, yeah, 5 days in Red Hill Hospital.
It's lucky you weren't
not Red Hill. East Grinstead it was and they stitched it all back together.
Not the scars unit with the guy.
But it's the plastic. Exactly that. Queen Vic.
That's it. Yeah, because he was the guy that was the pioneering plastic surgeon for people who got burnt in the war.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah. So this llama. Did you ever encounter him again?
Yeah, he didn't get put down or anything. But about 3 weeks later, I was back at work and I had like a back plate just to stop me bending because it had to be held still for 6 weeks. And she decided that the best thing to do was castrate him. So she got the vet in. Sedated him, got him down, so he's castrated him and he's got his testicles on the floor, and I said to him, can I have them? And he went, pardon? Can I have his testicles? He said, well, yeah, what do you want them for? So I said, I've just given them to him, and he gave them to me, and I walked over, lobbed him over the fence into the fox pen, so the llama had to watch his own testicles being eaten by foxes.
Brian, I can't believe that.
Revenge is a dish best served cold.
Brian,
you wouldn't even get your own back on a llama.
Yeah.
Well, I was working at recently at one of these local zoos. I won't name it, and I got told off because I went the day before I'd gone into the tapir yard to assess the situation, and they seemed quite cool. And the next day I had to go back, and I had to go out into the field, and we went, and the girl said to me, just wait there a sec, I'm just going to lock the tapirs in. And I was like, okay, so I'm waiting, I'm thinking, she must have got them in by now, sort of thing. So I jumped the fence to carry on getting my work going, just thinking nothing of it. When she came back, did you jump the fence? Yes, I did. I mean, she's within her rights, but did you jump the fence? I said, yeah, I did. I was going, oh my God. She said, they're a code-free animal. They're a code-free animal. I said, well, what's a code-free? They'll eat, you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, but I've assessed the situation. But yeah, I got told off, didn't I? I really did, yeah. And then I got told off again. But brilliant. Yeah, excellent.
You are also a keen photographer and have taken a few shots of the bands from the local music scene. You also play the guitar yourself. Tell us how the two piece together.
Well, I always wanted to play the guitar. And I just never really got round to learning. And then it was a conversation with Will, actually, that started it all off again. We were out in Forest View one day, and I was playing some music, and you stopped for a chat, and we sort of knew each other anyway, and suggested I come down to the open mic at the Swan. And I expressed to Will that I really wanted to learn, and he said to me, go home, get a guitar, and learn to play Don't Look Back in Anger. He said, play it for an hour a day, every day for 6 weeks, which I did and nearly got murdered by my wife. He said, and at the end of that, there's so many chords in that, you'll be able to play anything with practice. And that's where I started off.
And then after that, you was away. Right? Yeah. I mean, you're more than self-sufficient, competent now and doing what you're doing. You get up and play, don't you, all the time at the open mics.
Wait till they pay me enough money to stop singing.
No, you sing as well. You do a great
drums.
Yeah.
Good on the drums. Well, always called me up for that.
Well, yeah. But the photography. Let's get back to the photography. So you're a keen photographer, as we've said, and you've taken a load of shots for local bands. Costed the and the fortune. Tell us, we went up to London. You've got some great shots, hasn't he? On
well,
some
thanks for that.
We've done a little piece actually that we're going to put out there for you.
Yeah, you're going to help us with our promo as well. Some of your stuff, haven't we?
Shots for
some of the
locals.
street people.
So where did you start?
Ordinary people behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes, Britain. So where did you start off? How did you get into the photography?
Well, we were going on safari, so I had a look and bought a little bridge camera, and I got some reasonable results. I thought they were all right, but then I started looking at other people's pictures and wanted better pictures. So I bought a better camera, and I realised that I had an interest in photography generally. Animals, really, and African animals is my passion. I've been 4 times now to Kenya and Tanzania to take pictures, and each time I've taken a better camera or a better lens. Or
that's another. When we get you back on, we'll have to go through that.
But I discovered I like photography generally, and of course guitars are cool, musicians are cool, and I could take pictures on my phone and they'd come out okay. And I looked at why and what the settings on the phone were, and then bought a lens that I could put on my camera. And as I say, musicians and guitars are cool, and I've always been interested in it. Sort of married
I'll
up
ask you
the
a
two.
technical question where the photography is concerned, because I love a bit of photography, but mine's nothing like yours, right? So my question is, cameras these days, or for the last probably 10, 15 years, even before they went digital, right, have built-in computers, so you don't need to do any of the aperture changing or anything like that, or a lens opening time and this sort of stuff.
No, yeah, you absolutely still do.
Well, you can, because you can switch it to manual, and I would imagine that you need to take over, because if you left it to the computer on the camera, it's going to give you the ideal shot and the ideal setting, which is just common stuff.
It is. So there's the auto mode, as you quite rightly say, but if you're taking pictures of fast moving things like birds flying, you can move to a different mode which would give you control over the speed of the shutter, but it will do the aperture opening time itself. And you can alter the ISO, the amount of light let in. And alternatively, there's another mode where you get control over the...
But some of these photos, you've got the light in the right place where it should be to make the shot so much more interesting than a normal shot.
I mean, that's about getting the light behind you, really.
Yes. So how do you go about taking your shots? You look for the light, and how do you just see? If it was me, I think I would just take loads of shots and then pick the best one. Is that what you do, or do you
to a point,
specifically go in for a shot? So
you might take a couple of shots and see what they look like, and then adjust your settings, because you can over and underexpose things. So if you're finding it's too bright, you can move the exposure.
Let's say with the animals then. So tell us about the pictures of the African animals.
Kenya's quite good because the amount of sunlight. So you've got a good light. So that's really helpful. So you can take your exposure down, and basically open your shutter for less time because there's more light coming in. So fast moving things like cheetahs, you want something like a 1600th of a second, because you want to freeze them.
Same with birds, I suppose.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah.
And there's a particular lion shot that you've got where the lion's like, he's got that look on his face like, if you come any closer, I'm going to eat you. Now, were you 5 meters away, or did you just have a really good lens?
Actually, I was 5 meters away.
Ooh.
But I was in a Toyota Land Cruiser.
You're lucky it weren't a llama.
Stood up on the seat.
He would be in there.
And he was the last lion to be allowed to eat, because he was a deposed pride leader. Okay. His brother had deposed him, and you could see he'd been in a big fight because he's got a big cut on his eye. And the pride had killed a wildebeest in the river. They'd finished eating, all the cubs were getting muddy and playing around. So he dragged it out. Once the others had finished, he was allowed to drag it out onto the bank. So he was then very protective because he had to wait. His brother couldn't kill him, which would quite often happen because he was the only other male in the pride, and that would leave him vulnerable to other males coming in and taking over if there was only one male.
Psychology as well.
You sure you're not just reading out the Lion King story there?
No, this is
that's how it works, isn't it? Yeah,
but if you see the photograph that I mean, it is a battered old lion, and he's got blood all over his face.
It's very good, and our listeners should go and check it out. Where can they see that? On your Facebook?
On Instagram.
On your Instagram. Brilliant. Right, what is it?
Angus VN 1500 on Instagram.
Excellent. Yeah, we suggest everyone go and check out Angus's photographs on his Instagram.
And obviously you can see him on one of ours as well coming up soon. A few of them displayed for you. So Brian, you didn't tell us about how you got into your carpentry. Please can you fill us in now?
Of course. After the llama incident, shall we call it, I did go and work for a lady called Carla Lane, who had written some stuff for television.
Oh, very famous.
Yeah, I recognise
the liver birds, bread, butterflies, among others.
Yeah.
And she had an animal sanctuary, but that was much more British wildlife and farm animal.
Where was this?
In Sharpthorne.
Oh, really? So quite close as well.
She had an H-shaped 500-year-old mansion down there with huge grounds.
Wow.
And she had upstairs cats and downstairs cats. And you'd go into her kitchen and there'd be a lurcher called Igor lying on the kitchen table. Seriously.
Yeah.
And tortoises 2 foot long wandering around the floor.
Quite eccentric.
Parrots that you wouldn't want to go near because they'd bite your finger off.
Yeah, well, or your wrist.
But she was, she was
she
quite
married?
eccentric. I don't know if she'd ever been married. She never really imparted that information on me. But she was lovely.
Was she the character that butterflies sort of portrayed?
No, she was a proper lovey. I mean, for example, she had a koi carp pond in her courtyard with a fountain in the middle, and she'd be out there with the koi carp pellets going, gold leaf, darling, come on, darling, gold leaf. And she said, oh, look, he's coming. And this gold leaf carp, and I'd say, Carla, they're all coming because you've got the pellet. No, he knows my voice. So she'd... but she was quite entertaining.
So you started off there as working with animals, but then got into carpentry through her?
Well, I used to mend a lot of the enclosures and perches and stuff. And then chance encounter, somebody asked me if I could help them out refurbishing this warehouse, which they'd had for 25 years. They were moving premises and the landlord wanted it all put back how it was. So for about 2 months, I went there on all my days off, earned a lot of money, and got really into mending stuff. Right. Enough to go and apply to Crawley College.
You seem to have that sort of brain about you, though, don't you?
I like to learn new stuff, whatever.
And fix stuff. I mean, you started off with the radiators, and it sort of seemed to have that brain. Some people don't, but yeah. So carry on. So
that got me interested in doing some carpentry, and I went to Crawley College and found out, and went and did a 2-year night school course, which the government pretty much paid for because I'd never had any bursaried education, so they give you one go at it. Right. And then halfway through that, I was working as a recovery driver at the time. I got a job with Mears, where I then stayed for 20 years until March this year.
All of their carpentry.
I loved the council house maintenance
because Dave, yeah, Dave Bowd.
Dave Bowd at Mears, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Another funny character.
Who's Dave Bowd? Who's Dave Bowd?
Oh, he's one of a mutual friend we discovered one night talking
about. Great comic, great comedian.
How do you know?
I lived next door to him many years ago, and we spent a lot of time together in the evening having a drink and having a smoke, and it was great.
Oh, nice, excellent.
Yeah, good comedy. Before we get to the quickfire round, we'd like to hear about your affiliation to the biker community. Without spilling the beans too much, take us on that ride.
Well, to be honest, Clive, as I mentioned before, when I worked in Southampton, it was necessary to get a motorbike. And what started off as a necessity became a passion. Right. I discovered that there was all these other people who would go to particular pubs and they all had bikes. And I took to it quite well. I passed my test and got a bigger motorbike within 4 or 5 months. I had a Honda 404 calf racer, met up with all these other people and found out there was this whole community of people that looked after each other. We went to weekend events where there was bands playing, you'd park your bike, drink beer, talk crap. And obviously when I had a family, that all stopped for a while. But then as the kids grew older, I went back to it and had 20 years of going to rallies with pretty much a similar crowd of people and sometimes the same people.
Yeah, it's a very strong sense of community they have, isn't it?
Absolutely, and they really look after each other.
Yeah.
But we used to joke, we loved them because you would literally turn up on a Friday night, park your bike, drink shitloads, there'd be good music, talk bollocks all weekend, and just sit in the sun or the rain or whatever was going on.
Do you want to talk some rally names?
There was quite a well-known rally which went for 30 odd years locally at Plumpton Racecourse called the UFO Rally. Far from Sirius, it was called.
And in relation to...
And they're abducted
name.
but never probed. Was their slogan, yes.
How big was it, like, in comparison to which...
there was probably
Glastonbury or something?
But no, it was probably only 250 people up there.
Oh, really? So,
because it was on Plumpton Racecourse in the rugby club on there.
Yeah, so that was a community thing.
That's one of the first. And I met so many nice people there. And we became good mates. And then they'd say, come to this one, the Jack Tar, which was run by the Royal Navy at the Army Flying School in Middlewallop. And that was just the best weekend of the year. They'd have this guy called Spike, who was an old DJ, had everything on 45, and he'd put a telephone to his ear and wind it all up. And he'd have...
Sorry, just for our listeners, for our younger listeners, 45s being...
RPM vinyl record, yes, exactly that. And these things, because it was in the middle of a field, in the middle of nowhere, if you were up, he'd still be playing the music at 6 o'clock in the morning if you could stand up still, because we used to drink, in those days, we drank Newcastle Brown before they moved the brewery and it then tasted funny.
That was a staple biker drink, was it, Newcastle Brown?
There'd be a cubic metre of it, and they'd probably have to buy more on Saturday. But it was a bit of that rally was a competition to see who could be last to bed, and I think I got in the final 6 one day.
A lot of speed going around in them days.
Yes, well, yeah. But this was unaided on my part.
No, well done.
But the trouble is, if it was really warm, you'd get in your tent at 6:30 in the morning. By 8 o'clock, it was too hot to stay in there, so you'd be back out. And because it was on military land, the bar didn't shut. So 8 o'clock, you'd just start again.
Brilliant. Sounds great to me.
We had a rule: you had to stop at midnight on the Sunday, because you had to drive 12 hours later, and then we'd literally sit there till 12 o'clock before we drove anywhere.
Is it still open, this place?
No, this rally, COVID killed the bike rally scene.
So were you affiliated to, say, like the Hells Angels or the Outlaws?
No,
nothing
like that.
We had. Did you know people that were?
Yes, there's different levels.
Yeah, not without. We're not trying to mention any names. Just trying to get an insight.
No, we had a rally club, and it started off. My friend Danny, who you know, we were talking one day,
nice guy.
And we went to the UFO rally. It was our first one for donkey's years. And there was all sorts of little rally clubs there called this, that and the other. So we jokingly, after a lot of beer, decided to form our own club.
Yeah.
Bollocks MCC.
What was it?
Bollocks. BOLLOX MCC. And we remember it differently, but I remember it was because there was 2 of us and we talked bollocks. And
is that why you wear stuff all the time with bollocks written all over?
Well, we had t-shirts. I've still got the hoodie now.
Really?
And I'll show you. Yeah. So gradually we met more people and they became and joined us. So we end up, and we've still got the Bollocks MCC WhatsApp group. And there's about 12 people on there.
See, that's where, obviously, the leather jackets and the AC/DC must have combined.
Yeah,
they were all into that as well.
Absolutely,
so,
Is that why you felt at home coming on this show?
Yes.
No, that we took a load of bollocks.
Yeah. But then one of our more prominent
as our
members,
regular listeners will know. Sorry, Brian.
That's all right. One of our more prominent members, a guy called Skelly, ex-Royal Navy himself, was someone we met at pretty much the first rally we went to, and we were friends for 20 years. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2022, and he was covered in tattoos. One night we were at a gig in Burgess Hill, and there was a young lad there. It was the Calm, who used to play at the Swan a lot.
Right. Yeah.
And this young lad, because we was like about 10 of us bikers all in there as well. He's only young, and he's come up and he's going, "What?" And we said, "What do you mean, all right?" He said, "They call me Tattoo." And we went, "Oh yeah, do they?" So he said, "Yeah, look, it's because I've got 7 tattoos." I said, "Okay, show us then." So he starts peeling off his thing, rolling up his sleeve. And then I just said to my mate, "Skelly, come over here, drop your trousers." Right, in the pub, this was it. Drop your trousers, it's tattooed all up his legs. Then he's taking his shirt off, so he's standing on his pants at these points. And he's got tattoos all over his body. Then he's even opened his lips and it just said, "Fuck off."
Really?
And this boy just went, "Okay."
Oh,
but he was all right. It was all good natured. We were laughing. We bought him a beer.
I remember tattoos. See, when I was young, people, my uncle's in the army, so he was the first person I knew who had tattoos, and it would be like the old eagle, or the rose, or the anchor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then
Anchor,
in the 90s, you started to get the Maori, and then the Chinese writing, and people were getting.
Well, there was only a couple of colours to start with, red and blue, I think it was,
right,
or green.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, green,
A lot of the time, it started off black and went green.
Yeah. They faded. It used to be a thing. But now the tattoo business has exploded. I mean, it's become not that it wasn't
it's
an art form,
isn't
but
it?
it's
fine art form now, more than your anchor with a W in front.
Yeah, no, it's
you can have a line, can you? With all the detail.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, well, that's been great.
Yeah, nice one. Well, it's now time for the quick fire round. Yes, stroke, no answers only, please. Are you ready?
Ready, Clive.
Okay, we begin. Strawberries or raspberries?
Raspberries.
Darts or snooker?
Darts.
Roast dinner or fish and chips?
Fish and chips.
London or Brighton?
Brighton.
Morecambe and Wise or Cannonball?
Morecambe and Wise.
Up or down?
Up.
Brandy or whiskey?
Whiskey. Beatles
or Rolling Stones?
Rolling Stones.
Love Island or Married at First Sight?
Neither.
Surprise.
Beans or peas?
Beans.
Only Fools and Horses or 40 Towers?
Difficult.
Difficult. Tough one, that.
Yeah, I'd have to go 40 Towers at a push.
Yeah. Deliver in or eat out?
Eat out.
Nat West or Barclays?
Nat West.
Coral or William Hill?
William Hill.
Green or yellow?
Green.
Sunderland or Newcastle?
Sunderland.
Big Mac or Whopper?
Big Mac.
Adidas or Nike?
Adidas. Portugal
or Spain?
Spain.
Pound or euro?
Pound.
Left or right?
Right.
Excellent. Some tough decisions there, but you navigated it well. We have now arrived at the deep dive question where we have an in-depth conversation about some of the best online conspiracy theories that the internet has to offer. The question is Michelle Obama really a man? Also known as Big Mike. What's your thoughts, and have you come across this subject?
I have come across this subject. Principally, obviously, on the internet, because I'm quite an avid internet reader.
Yeah,
sure.
Scrolling.
Yes,
Doom scrolling.
yes. Now, and Joan Rivers, controversial character.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, she broached this subject about, and the words she used, because they bleep out everything because everybody's so sensitive now, but she basically said, well, that Michelle Obama's a tranny.
Well, that's right. So Joan Rivers was running down the road. They were trying to catch up with her.
Yeah.
And then she blurted out, and they said, do you think we will ever have a gay president? And she said, get real. We all know that Michelle Obama's really a man. And then, 4 days later, I think she was killed. Is that
2 weeks later, she was dead. Yeah. And this was brought up by Errol.
Flynn?
No, what's the Tesla man?
Elon Musk.
Yes, his dad, Errol Musk, brought this up.
That's right, yeah.
Brought this up.
I read that somewhere just recently when I was researching it.
Although, if you do a bit of research extensively, that they are saying that the photographs are all doctored that show her looking very masculine.
Big Mike.
With AI these days, who knows what to believe?
Right, so this is the problem. This is where the problem herein lies, is that these days, because of that, we none of us know if we're having the wool pulled over our eyes from every direction. It's the land of confusion.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you see something online that Big Mike's swinging through his skirt or whatever, who knows to say that hasn't just been put out there as some sort of psyop or propaganda? You know,
because there's two political parties and therefore two sets of supporters, and both are now the more extreme factions are doing the dirty tricks thing.
Well, this is it, and Russian, the Russians get involved, didn't they? With setting in propaganda to mess everyone up for the elections and everything. So we don't really know, but it is a very interesting.
It's a big one, isn't it? I mean, it's very possible that it all come from like your Joan Rivers thing, right? That she said she was running down the road and said after is it true that you've still got a old transistor radio in your kitchen and it's blown up from
Yeah,
that?
maybe.
You mean it could have been edited, but anything. Yeah, no, but Will, I'll tell you a little one is that I say a little one, might be a big one, Big Mike, but it turns out as well. Then there's the other side of things where they look back through the history of the presidents and their wives, Roosevelt and everything. And if you look, they look very masculine, and it's almost like it's a big cover up that they're all into it. The elites. I mean, it is what it is. But the way I always talk about it with people is if you were extremely rich, and you had no rules and no one was going to arrest you for anything. And you needed a buzz. Money's not enough to give you a buzz. You're billionaires. You've got all the money in the world. You're going to need something else to give you that buzz. Now, if me and you were both billionaires, and we was like, let's do this.
You're saying you might go off and like shake Brian just for a buzz?
No,
or dress it in a dress.
Definitely not. I'll say it's AI anyway. But
I wonder what you look like in a dress.
No, but I'm saying that the rules, the same rules to the elites of these billionaires do not apply to
They absolutely don't.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. Is so who knows, man?
Well, yeah, I suppose if they had enough substances in them and they can afford to do that, then it twists their mind.
That's
possibly,
what I'm trying to. But with the big Mike thing, you're talking that picture of him, because he's meant to be, apparently Obama's meant to be some
why Big Mike anyway?
Why Big Mike?
Yeah,
because
does that mean he had a big willy, or she was quite big?
No, Michelle, because he slipped up a couple of times. He's called her Michael instead of Michelle.
Right. Oh, okay. Right.
So
I see. Right.
It's Big Mike, isn't it? You know what I mean? So, but he's also meant to be he's not from Kenya, his birth certificate, because you can only be president, can't you, in America if you were born in the country?
That's right, yeah.
But he was meant to be born in Kenya. He's meant to be a CIA. I mean, we are in the never let the truth get in the way of a good conspiracy, that's what I say. But we don't know, do we? But there are...
The thing is, though, it doesn't matter who's president or who's prime minister of this country. As soon as they look at Keir Starmer, right? All the crap that comes out about him, or not necessarily crap.
But he's meant to be banging the other geezer, isn't he?
Well, that's what I mean. There's so much about him. I've seen pictures of him on Facebook holding up a banner saying, sorry for ruining the country and messing it all up. And you're thinking, well, it's apt, but is it real?
Probably not. He's not going to admit it yet.
Yeah, but their sexual orientation is no one knows. But the photo, that main photo of he calls her, he slips up several times, doesn't he? The Bear Grylls interview. Have you seen that one where he calls her my Michael, my Michelle?
Right. Okay.
It's happened quite a few times. It's not just one thing.
I don't know, because I didn't know anything about this until.
Really, you never heard it?
No.
Oh, wow.
Completely ignorant.
But it was picked up by a group called the Transvestigators. And that's the thing, the Transvestigators. And of course, there's Angela Merkel was the subject of some of their investigation, and of course the Macron's wife.
That's a big thing. So they've gone to court recently, haven't they? Sorry to drop in on you, but they've gone to. There's a group that have gone to court because they were said that Macron's a man.
But his wife,
Sorry, Macron's wife is a man. And so they've sued them for defamation. They've gone to court, but the people who said it have won in court.
Have they? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's very, very, very suspicious.
They were saying all this about Lady Gaga as well, 10, 15 years ago, when she's just started coming into the limelight. And I'm sure she was helping them along their way and promoting it, because bad publicity is good publicity, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, come on, she's gorgeous, isn't she? She's like all women, all through, isn't she?
Who?
Lady Gaga.
Fuck off! I'm not. I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
And
you know, like her? Right, Lady Gaga.
Well, I respect her. I think she's a brilliant musician. No, No, I'm not saying that because my wife listens to this.
No.
Check out the clip. I think
it was. I'm not a fan.
The Hall of Fame Awards where she sings with James Hetfield. His monitor's not working, and she takes him like over her microphone. His microphone's broken, and totally makes a really good thing out of something dreadful that's happened on a live performance.
Okay.
There's a quite a big story about it.
But singing wise, she doesn't say you don't catch her saying anything on the mic.
No. But his microphone's not working, and she fixes it.
I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that she's a great vocalist and a great front lady, but yeah, she's not my cup of tea.
But all this
all I'm trying to say is it's very unlikely that she's got a penis.
I don't. But you never know these days, do you?
No, I think you do to a point.
Yeah, but there's tools. There's like facial but there's every recognition. There's the human form. A woman. You were saying earlier, Brian, before we started the show about that program called Miriam.
Yes. Oh yeah. The something about Miriam in 2003. Where they had the 5 contestants or 6 contestants who were all competing for the chance to be Miriam's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And there was one guy who sussed it straight away, and then the others all went the distance. And
he disappeared straight away, didn't he?
Well, the person that won smashed the place up when they told him it was actually a transvestite.
Well, that's not fair, is it?
No, but it was very controversial. I think they had to go to court and they had to pay them all a lot of money in compensation to be allowed to show to air the show.
Oh, so they took the money then?
Yeah,
it's a very controversial conversation that we're getting into it. But there's just one thing I'd say is that and go to the source and don't just listen to what I'm saying, because I'm not sure whether I'm right or wrong, because these things have been modified all the way along, and the internet's a big one on that, right? But there was a James Bond movie, I think it was A Spy That Loved Me, and one of the lead roles in it, a female, was said to be a man.
Maud Adams.
And if that was the case, she was a very good example of a woman being born a woman in a man's body, right? And I think this is something that could happen, but 1 in a million, right?
But you say like I said earlier, I was saying earlier when we
or 1 in 50 million.
Back
probably.
in the day, in the 18th, Shakespeare back in the 1600s or wherever we were back then, yeah. Everyone that was on stage, there was even pantomime.
Yeah.
It's not a new thing, or it's not a.
No,
why would it have changed?
No, I'm sure that there was a big thing about men dressing up as women back in the day, but we're talking about an anatomal.
Yeah, but they tuck it in. They do all sorts.
Yeah, I know, but we're saying like there's these men, right, that are saying that they're actually born a woman in a man's body, right? Which I'm happy to believe.
Oh, well, that's nice of you.
But I think it was probably one of those kind of 1 in 50 million chances, and then you get all the other ones jumping on the bandwagon saying,
do
you know what I mean?
A fashion statement.
Yeah,
like now, really.
A bit like Monty Python. Well, I have the right to be a woman and have babies, even if I can't, right?
Excellent example. Totally, yeah. And that was what, 70? What was that, 70?
Yeah, that was
79. That was
79.
Life of Brian.
Yeah. So nothing. And let's face it, everybody, nothing new under the sun is there. So. What are we saying? Do we think Michelle Obama is Big Mike and Barry's all over it, or what?
Well, I'm a bit sort of 50-50.
Okay, Brian.
Well, it's all down to a personal opinion, isn't it? You've got to remember, some people's opinion is that Starmer and Trump are intelligent people.
Yeah, okay.
And remember, folks, never let the truth get in the way of a good conspiracy theory. We now have a couple more questions to ask you, which may give us a little bit more of an insight into the real you. If you could be any animal, which animal would you be and why?
A basset hound.
Ooh.
Brilliant.
Yes, we have. Well, the reason I've said that is because I had a basset hound for a long time who was just the best thing since sliced bread.
What was his name?
Meldrew. And he basically ate, slept, and rolled his eyes a lot. And that was just such a perfect.
Nah, he was cool. He used to bring him down to the open mics, didn't he? He was a lovely little dog, wasn't he?
Howled his head off when you were trying to record
That's
something.
right,
Every time you started recording.
Lovely.
Howling mad Meldrew.
Yes.
No. So why would you be a basset hound?
Just because, obviously, because we had him. He had such an easy life and he was so relaxed about everything. And it would just be a nice place to be in
not
your
a
head
llama.
without any stress.
So basically a
not a
dog's
llama.
Yeah, not a llama.
So basically a dog's life. You're
Yeah.
saying, you'd like that life, and
Yeah.
just to chill out, have your belly rubbed every now and then.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone feed you. Sounds absolutely great.
Nice. What is your biggest goal right now, and what childhood dream do you still hang on to?
My biggest goal, and this is serious, I'm trying to be a nicer person because I'm not always the most.
Okay.
No, that's a good one, mate. I like that.
I need to stop saying what I think a lot of the time.
I think
and just let people be people rather than be too judgmental. I think is.
I like that.
Okay,
that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. So do you have any life goals at the moment?
Well, we have. Myself and my partner Jane are actually fulfilling a life goal at the moment. We've just recently moved to Scotland.
That's right, yes.
Not just to Scotland, but right to the north of Inverness.
And you've always wanted to do that?
Well, we formed the plan about 4 or 5 years ago. Jane was originally from Dingwall, which is about 40 miles from where we live now. And I met her at the UFO bike rally, actually, in 2010.
Yeah, nice.
And she changed my life.
Yeah, and she's a nurse, is that right?
Yes, she is. Yeah, senior critical care.
You got it done. You planned it. You got it done.
Yeah, we did. We moved, and we now live somewhere where there is 116,500 less people than in Crawley.
Wow. So let's just let everyone know. You've basically packed up. You've sold your house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, in the process, it is being sold, but you've already moved to Inverness in Scotland. Obviously, you're not just throwing everything away. You've got your money. You started a job up there.
Yes, yeah.
And it's remote.
It's not actually 40 miles northeast of Inverness, because Inverness is one of the fastest growing cities in Scotland, if not the country. But this is a little town called Tain, and it's a historic town right on the sea.
Lovely. Yeah, I've seen some photos. I mean, it looks idyllic, really, even in the winter.
It took a little bit of getting used to. The first time we come out on a Monday morning and there's no one on the street, it looks like some sort of zombie apocalypse has happened overnight. But when you've only got 3,500 people, I mean, there's 9,000 live in Langley Green.
Yeah.
No, we looked this up because
So how you feeling about the move?
I love it.
You're pleased.
I love
with
it.
the
I can walk down to the beach every day.
And your wife, how does she feel about the move?
I think she took a bit longer to get used to the fact that, as I say, you come out in the street and there's just no one there. But she's basically, now she's been back to Crawley and re-experienced the congestion.
Hustle and bustle.
Yeah. She's really warming to it now as well.
Is there any do you know anything about the history of the place and who might have lived there and,
I do, but not enough
plans.
to be specific about it at the moment.
Okay.
It's all a bit of a learning
So
curve.
I don't know if just for our listeners, so Brian's actually flown in here specifically to come to the podcast tonight.
Thanks for that, Brian.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
So does that help? You've been coming back down every now and then to sort things out. So you've been going to Scotland and then dipping your toe back into Crawley just to sort of see everyone and then going back. Is that ideal so that you're almost...
I mean, it is because
you're not just cutting the cord directly. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, because my children all live in or around Crawley,
yes.
and I've got lots of friends from the pub, so it's quite nice to come back.
Yeah, of course.
But yes, last time we came back, and I came back with Jane, it sort of brought it home. Because I think when you leave somewhere, you have a romantic notion of things are always better when they're gone.
The grass
but it's
is
not.
greener.
It's not. And so you need to come back and have a look.
Is it true? I don't know if this is a conspiracy thing or not, but this is something I've heard on one of the social media channels that you've bought our local pub, the Swan, and you're moving it block by block up to Scotland.
If only. I don't know how it would get received up there.
We have suggested we'll go up there and camp one night, haven't we, and come and visit you and stay in a local campsite. That would be fantastic. You've got one of these, what they like posh.
It's a Tain glamping. Yeah, that's glamping. Not very. It's quite expensive.
Yeah, that's all right. Clive's paying anyway, so it'll be all right.
What you want to do is rent a camper van.
Yeah,
that was funny. Well, this has been fascinating, Brian, and we hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. But before we wrap things up, we give you the right to rant. 30 seconds to tell us what really gets on your goat or grinds your gears. Could be trivial, might be huge. The floor is yours. Let's hear it. Time starts now.
Well, this is a really Crawley type rant now. You're sat at Tushmore Gyratory System. There's a taxi driver at the front of the traffic lights. The traffic lights are going to be green for 11 seconds. The taxi driver sees it goes red and yellow, sees it goes green. Has a think about where first gear is, when he's going to put his foot on the clutch. Sneaks away to save fuel at about 2 miles an hour. At which point the traffic light goes red again and no one else fucking gets through.
I feel you, man. I think they do it to save fuel consumptions in the cabs, don't they? But
they do, absolutely.
But so you can't blame them for that. But you're right. There's nothing more annoying than going on them things and you think go, especially when you're in a rush. But
so if you're a taxi driver and you're doing that, stop it.
The other thing they do
is
they rush to pull out in front of you, coming out of Barnfield Road opposite the Honda garage, and then slow down to 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, we totally agree with you, Brian.
Yeah.
It's your right to ram. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Brian. It's been excellent.
Yeah, it's been brilliant.
We would now like to present you with your very own behind-the-scenes Britain badge.
Oh, here we go, Brian.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for having me.
No problem at all.
Please come again, and don't forget to add us to your socials and like and subscribe to help with the Poxy algorithm.
Oh, dirty algorithm.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time for more behind-the-scenes Britain with me, Clive Britton, and remember, you didn't hear it from me. Stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe, everyone. See you soon.